Council last night decided to write to the government seeking the return of the nearly $12 million in landfill levies. The idea being that Council use that money to seek alternatives to the current recycling crisis, that is Gippsland alternatives. The other suggestion was, if that could not be done, that the government fully fund the regional waste management groups so that they could take on that role. Following that resolution, Council also moved to seek the support of the Municipal Association of Victoria, I suppose you'd call them the Union of Councils, for that view. We're actually inviting the two relevant ministers to come up to the Latrobe Valley and have a look at where a number of creeks run through the centre of our towns, and we're talking Eelhole Creek in Churchill, Waterhole Creek in Maule, Trogan Creek and Narracon Creek in Moe. Where each of them runs through the town, they're still under the control of the West Gippsland Catchment Management Authority, which manages them as virtually a wild flora reserve. Doesn't allow any interference in them whatsoever. But what they've become is a catchment for rubbish, rubbish that flows down the creek. Council has no authority over this area. We unofficially go in and clean them out occasionally, but what we're seeking is some discussion with the ministers as to whether the Catchment Management Authority be budgeted to clean them regularly, or that they be landscaped in a manner that's more suitable to a town environment. So we're hoping the two ministers will come up, have a look and understand the problem we've got. There's a bill before the Senate at the moment which prohibits government expenditure on coal power stations, whether it's new ones, modifying existing ones, or even any funding assistance whatsoever. The Senate has invited submissions on this. We've written an extensive submission which could be summarised that the proposed bill is too drastic in its action, that we must look at the future of the electricity grid, and coal may have a role to play in that, and we also must consider any abrupt move to close power stations, particularly in the valley, could have a dramatic effect on the regional economy. So we're opposing this bill. We have a program to upgrade playgrounds in our towns, so essentially playgrounds and play spaces in our towns. We're into year 4 of that program, and last night Council endorsed the playgrounds which are to be upgraded or completely overhauled in the coming year. So this is good news for virtually for all the towns in the valley. 2A Crinigan Road in Maule is the former Crinigan Road primary school site. The department is now seeking to subdivide it into residential blocks, and Council agreed to support that proposal. We think that's a great idea for what may eventually become just a deserted block, so Council will support that move. We've had a planning permit in force for quite a few years for a multi-block development in McClure Court in Trogan. That permit has expired, and the Council decided not to renew it on the basis that it didn't appear that the development was ever going to occur. That view was supported by VCAT, who agreed that the permit should not be renewed. The proponent of the development has now challenged VCAT in the Supreme Court, and Council last night decided to be represented in that case.